Hey YouTube, matches 860, out in 95-degree heat, making a video about online friends, and it's kind of a video response to an online friend of mine on YouTube, DDime1, who brought up the whole subject of who are your friends online, and it's a pretty interesting subject, especially for people that are in my age bracket. I think of friends that I've had, friends that I have now, and think about what particular characteristics there are that make them friends. And I'm sure you all know, you start out getting to know somebody in your neighborhood, where you work, where you go to school. You have numerous verbal interactions. You learn where that person lives, what their likes are, what their dislikes are. You meet members of their families. And I guess the best way to put it is you get to know those people intimately, and you just become friends. Online, I have to think back to 1999 when I went on the internet for the first time and joined some forums, knife forums, pipe forums, and the whole thing back in the late 90s was anonymity. You had a screen name. You would have text interactions with people that you never met, didn't know anything about. Again, you only knew them as a screen name. And I believed that there was a function on the forums where you could request a friend. You know, if you had had a lot of interaction with a person on the forum, you could send a friend request, and that may or may not be honored. It was still pretty strange because you had no idea what that person looked like, what they sounded like. For all you knew, it was just somebody that was, you know, putting on a show online, and you didn't really know who that person was. Prior to Facebook, I joined Flickr, and Flickr sort of distinguished your online relationships by calling other members contacts, so that you could be looking at Joe Schmo's pictures and decide you wanted to follow his uploads, and you might send a contact request, which usually is honored, and in your feed every day you get to see any new uploads from Joe Schmo. Depending on how much you commented and maybe sent private messages to Joe Schmo, eventually you learned enough about Joe Schmo that, you know, maybe he's a friend because you're into the same photographic subjects, you've got the same camera, there's some sort of a bond where you can justify in your head, you know, this person's a friend. But it's still isn't anywhere near the same as friends under my original definition. So when Facebook comes along, there is no distinction as to what a friend is, and you're pretty much left to your own idea of what a friend is, who you're going to allow, and those types of decisions we'll get into in the next video. But I know I've had a person who was on Facebook and deleted their account say to me, how can you be talking to people that you don't even know? And I have to go back through that whole evolution of talking to people with screen names, getting to know people, private messaging back and forth, because on the outside that seems like a really good question, you know. Very few of us just walk up to strangers in public and say, you know, I want to be your friend, and what are your likes and dislikes? And so the online world is a little bit different, and one of the points that D-Dime1 brought up in his video, which again on the surface seems like a really good question. You know, if you get a friend request from somebody that was from your town or from your high school, let's say, that you really had nothing to do with in the past, why would you want to become their friends? And again, it's a really good question, and I can only say from my own experience, I have honored friend requests from people that I know but that I had nothing to do with in the past. And surprisingly, some of those people have become my best online friends. We change over the years. In high school, we carried that teenage baggage. We might have had one or two very close friends and kind of blocked out everybody else. And I think you find when you get older, especially now I'm into my 50s and I know a lot of my classmates have passed on. I'm some distance away from my hometown, so I almost grasp at any connection that I can find, and that's why, you know, I've honored those kinds of requests, and they've been very rewarding. People that I have no idea about them, some from Europe, just so happens that they were pipe smokers on Facebook, and there's a very active pipe smoking community there. And some years back, I accepted one person as a friend just because of the mutual interest. And I could have deleted that person if I decided to do a little housekeeping, because I had no contact with them whatsoever, never went to their page. But it turns out that person's also a photographer, set up a photography page on Facebook, which I've become somewhat involved in. And had I deleted that person, I would have missed out on that. So that's another example. So the whole friend issue, you could probably talk about it for hours. I'd be interested in hearing other people's experiences, what their thoughts are. I know there are many people on Facebook who, if you go to their page, they've got maybe 10 friends, 15 friends, and if you look through the list, it's all their family and, you know, a couple of miscellaneous people that they probably knew very well in the past or maybe even in the present. That's their decision to do that and to not pursue any online friendships. You know, we're all different, and the internet, you know, really is a social place. So that would be my response to D-Dime 1 in the area of who our friends are. His second point, which is also very good and could create a lot of discussion, is what are your policies on Facebook, on YouTube? And he alluded to the fact that YouTube and Facebook are sort of totally different arenas, which they are, and I'm going to get into that in the next video about policy and managing social media sites. So stick around for that. It'll be up, if not today, tomorrow. Thanks an awful lot for watching this, and please leave comments or send me a message if you have any comments. Thanks a lot.